welcome back to the table. So I'm trying to figure out how to deal with my glare issue. As you can see, it's a beautiful day outside and I should be outside doing something instead of playing board games. Let's try to make it look like it's cold and raining and miserable, and that's why I'm playing board games instead. Okay, so let's do this. I understand there's that glare right there, and otherwise I can't see because I'm a blind as a bat old man. Okay, we're ready to do chapter 2. One of the thoughts going through my head so far is I'm really concerned. So, for example, the penitent can have either of these. I think this is clearly better, even though this is a unique item. I do understand the whole cone thing. And by the way, where it says the attack gains no additional damage for large characters, if you did an AoE attack against a large character and you hit that large character like that last rat, the mother brood, if you have multiple hexes that are hitting the same large character, you actually do 1 extra damage for each hex. And it all still goes at 1 single die, so you don't get to spread it out across the dice, but you do get extra damage against the 1 die. So what this is saying is that you just don't get the extra damage against large creatures, but it's really good at clearing out the small ones. If I understand how to sell items, it's half of this number rounded down. So this item sells for nothing because it's only worth 1. And so for that reason, so let's say I equip either of these, or actually Andrew's the perfect example. Andrew has this wonderful staff and this rat fur tunic. So if he equips both of these things, at the end of chapter 2, he has to destroy one of them. And to be quite honest, that sucks, because we just worked hard to get both of these things. If he equips this instead, then we can destroy that and then know we're going to replace it with this in chapter 3. So then I'm waiting until chapter 3 to use the rat fur tunic, and who knows, by then there might be another one that's better that comes along. I don't know. That's the part that blows. So I'm taking all my extra items and I'm just putting them up here because any extra items we have should be up for sale. So like this one we could sell for 1. I mean, that shib, there's nothing wrong with it other than it's a dagger and nobody can use it except for Andrew. But Andrew's got that awesome staff. So why would I use a dagger instead of the awesome staff? We do still have, so we have 2 of these shibs, and then we have one of these long swords, which we can equip. Like, for example, the bear got rid of Wombat Girl got rid of her two-handed weapon, so we can give her this, which is a 2-handed sword. It's a yellow. I don't know if it's as good or better than the halberd was. The halberd was a, where are you? I'm just looking at this real quick. It's a red, so the halberd's definitely better. So it's just a matter of how much money do you want to spend, right? This is a 1-handed sword, nothing wrong with it. This was an upgrade to the cloth, again, nothing wrong with it. The short bow is exactly the same that we already had. This is decent, but nothing to write home about. And this is definitely an upgraded staff if we had the witch. Although we got that unique staff, which is even better. Okay, so where am I going with all this? Well, I don't like this mechanic where things break. And you're constantly under pressure to replace them. So you finally get some decent items. I want to hold on to them for a while. And then it's like, well, then, you're going to have to pick one. Well, I don't want to pick one. Anyways, I just, let's go ahead and jump into chapter 2 here. See what it says. So we're at location 13, the Broken Oak. And I don't know what I did with the miniature. Here it is. So let me move this out of the way. Location 13 is right here on the map. And I'm sure it's going to tell us to put out more locations here, so let's go ahead and do this. Open mystery envelope A and place its contents in the center of play. Do not place the free company marker yet. Place the chapter 2 chime track. Okay, mystery envelope A, we opened that last time. I don't understand. Mystery envelope A is just this. We're on path A, that's fine. So we don't place the free company marker, that's fine. I do need to grab the chapter 2. So chapter 2, so here's chapter 1, chapter 2 should be on the other side. So we got a similar mechanic, extra unique item. It's even less time. And then there's a storybook thing here. There's 2 city events. So we got that in place. All right, so...
Thistle vines tear at your arms as you dash by tortured tree trunks and splash through the soggy underbrush. Desperate to distance yourself from the encroaching beast, you know it's there, but dare not turn to look. Don't trip. Your heart clenches as you feel the hot animal breath at your back. The weapon, where is it? The thing is gaining. The thudding footfalls pound in your ears. A rising shadow looms over you. Then, nothing. No more branches being torn behind. No more splashing. You slow, then walk and eventually stop, breathless and terrified. You look to one another. Samuel comes up. The last of you, as always. He wipes his brow and shakes his head. It's gone, he says, adjusting his leather-strapped breastplate with one hand and grabbing the wire road with the other. You return his faint smile and face back to the path. Suddenly, there is a loud, plucking thrum on the wire behind you. You turn as Samuel is pulled, screaming into the deep wood. Something huge surges from the trees, orange eyes flashing.
Okay, I'm really confused. If we stayed at the Broken Oak, this is almost like a nightmare. Because remember, there was supposed to be 5 of us, and now there's 4. So I'm assuming Samuel is the 5th one. And then something took him. This is bizarre, but I'm assuming this is a flashback. So let's go ahead and... Each Oathsworn performs a survival check, difficulty 4. Okay, I don't know what the point of the flashback is if we've already killed the rat. But survival check, difficulty 4. We don't get to use our might on this. And we have no reroll tokens. We have nothing. So this is brutal because one of us is for sure going to fail. I'm going to go ahead and use white dice because I know that the cards are not going to help us. There's 6 blanks in here, and I got 4 people that need to run the test. We have to get at least a 4. So I feel like I got to roll 4 dice to pull that off. And I'm just realizing I needed to shuffle some of these mic decks. So I could do a mixture of dice and cards. Obviously, if I roll badly with the dice, there's potential for even more blanks than just the 6 that I had with the, with the deck. It's a weird mechanic. I still don't know what's best. I think, just to be clear, a lot of the YouTubers the ones I watched at least, they preferred the dice rolling versus the cards for these types of checks. And I guess I'm going to do the same just because I'm being lazy. But it's also, with 6 blanks in the deck, if you can get those blanks to come out slowly, you can get to a spot where you know the deck has nothing but good cards left. Like we did in that one attack that we did against them. And I could still mix them. I could use 2 dice and draw 2 cards, which I think is an interesting idea because, yeah, you got a little bit of randomness, but you also got a little bit of control, whereas this is pure chaos. All right, we're going to just roll dice. So we're going to start with the werebear. So there we go, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's a pass. So good job, Wombat Girl. Now we're going to go to me, the penitent. And there's the 2 blanks. I already failed, so we don't need to continue. Next great question. Did all of our hit points go back up to 6? I'm assuming they did, so I'm going to drop mine down to 5. Then for each health you lose, including during the story, gain an Empower token. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one right now. And then we're going to roll for Andrew. There's our 4. He passed. And then we're going to roll for Jagira. 2, 4, and then 2 blanks is a fail. So Jagira failed as well. So Jagira drops to 5. Everybody else I'm putting back up to 6. All right, so some failed. Each Oathsworn that failed loses a hit point. Yeah, we know that.
You dive into the cover of the woods, flailing your arms to clear the path of vines and blankets, as you suddenly find yourself lying in the straw mattress bed of the broken oak.
Yeah, so it was a bad dream. So he lost a hit point in a bad dream. That's pretty awful. Place the free company marker on 13, but do not place the location on the city map. All Oathsworn gain a redraw token. Those are beautiful. So very happy to get those. A redraw, of course, is the difference between a success and a failure, or a hit and not a hit. So that's done. And I'm realizing I had other tokens to put away, so I'm doing that while I'm doing this.
You look quickly around. Each of you, now startled awake, sits in blankets and pillows, damp with sweat. Some of your sheets are streaked in blood, where you have clawed your own skin. One look at each other confirms you all saw the same thing. No debate is necessary as you gather your gear and head downstairs to clear your heads. Seeing Samuel die again has shaken everyone, though it hadn't been like that the first time. No one had seen what happened to him then. One thing is sure, that was more than just an ordinary nightmare.
Well, okay, I'm feeling better now. So yes, I accurately figured out it was some kind of dream, not a flashback. And it is interesting that everybody had the same dream.
As you finish a shared plate of cheese and roots, carefully prepared by innkeeper Bram, Greycane, the fableman and proprietor of the Broken Oak, works his way across the crowded room and sits himself at the table, sporting a jovial look. I've seen corpses look better than you lot. Hell's Eve, my ex-wife could summon a better face on a bad day, and she was a Cistercian. You wonder at how a man from a town like Bastogne would ever have come to marry one of the famously religious, famously celibate people. Greycane breaks your reverie with a question. Leaning in, his countenance changes, eyes dark and voice low. Having bad dreams, are we?
Do we describe the experience to an innkeeper who spreads rumors and gossip? Or do we just not reply? I don't see how there's like, it's not like this is, you're seeing a doctor or a therapist here. You're talking to a bartender or barkeep owner. I'm going to not reply. And if anything, we here at the Jeff channel, even though I'm not originally from here, I do currently live in Minnesota. And there is this thing called Minnesota Nice where they just don't answer questions like this. It's a Minnesota thing. All right, we're going to not reply.
Your silence answers him. He nods in acceptance and goes to leave you in peace, doing so with a suggestion. Take it from an old traveller. I've seen things no one wants to see. Now, I'm not one to pry, but I'd say this. Go and see Lysine, the apothecary. Let her help. Also, listen to your dreams. They're there to teach you something.
Okay, fair enough.
The banksmith, Gamble, enters the tavern, clearly agitated. He heads to Greycane and urgently puts a 3-fingered hand on his shoulder. Grey Cane turns to the man, concern on his face. What is it, old friend? Tam, have you seen him? He's not come home, Gamble replies. Oh, you know what youth are like. I think you might have even been one once. With a face like that, you must have gotten yourself lost more than once, he says encouragingly to the thick-armed banksmith. Bram lets out a short laugh, clearly deciding Gamble has a face only a mother could love. Gamble eyes Bram briefly before continuing. Please, he's all I have. Of course, replied Grey Cane. I'll put out word for him with my contacts. Gamble nods gratefully and leaves the tavern. Grey Cane shakes his head. He's not the first to be looking for someone. Tam is a good one. Perhaps he has intentionally got himself lost, but my gut tells me otherwise. As the silence lingers, your eye is drawn to the window of the tavern. Staring back at you through the glass, unmoving, is Samuel, your fallen comrade, face gaunt, eyes accusing. You blink, and he is gone. As you rise from your seat, you are interrupted.
Okay, I don't think we have Midge as an ally. We have Dane. So we're definitely doing otherwise.
The street urchin you remember from your arrival in Bastone puts his hand down on your table. A message for you from High Lord Davinish. This is official business here. He wants you at the palace. I ran here fast as the streets would take me, and I've done my best to give you a good name and not disappoint his High Lord. Yet another show of my usefulness and good faith and all. Due to that, I am willing to let you reconsider having me as a faithful and well-paid guide. He smiles. I'll throw in today's message as a free delivery to show my character, and from here on in, the rest is negotiable.
If you agree to take him on, perform a bartering check as you haggle with him. If you succeed, lose 2 iron. If you fail, lose 4. Whether you succeed or fail, gain ally card Midge. I guess Midge must be the guy we refused to pay last time. That's fine. And then we go, we place location 10 and go there. Okay, we'll do a bartering check. And just like before, we don't have any advantages. I wanted to point out, though, that as you can see, there is survival check, spot, search, listen, barter, threat, reason, right? So we are able to eventually get skills that will help us do redraws on those types of checks. So that means if we drawed the 2 blanks or rolled 2 blanks, we could roll again. The one thing to point out is when you level up, there's only 8 free company abilities you're going to get. So if you take 3, 6, 9 of these, right, that you don't even have a chance to get all 3 of these. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 20. I previously said there was 12, but that was me assuming there's only one of these each. And that's not true. There's 20, and you're only going to get to pick 8. Now, some of these I look at, and I'm not sure I care. Like camaraderie, when allies enter play. The only time they enter play is when you are KO'd. So this is a very situational situation. And yeah, I mean, getting the extra empowered or redraw tokens is going to help them. But you should be playing in a way that you're not putting them in play in the first place. So this is not worth spending your very precious 8 points on. So, okay, 20 is down to 17. I don't know what rations is, so I'm assuming that is a good thing. The field medic looks awesome. But again, this is about healing injuries, which requires you to be KO'd. I just think at some point we're eventually going to get a KO. So that's why I'm worried. But the field medic does look good. The tough as nails, somebody's going to recover a hit point. We have 2 guys that are down a hit point right now. So tough as nails would be very beneficial. Gain 2 curatives when you purchase 1. If you're going to be buying those, I would think getting 2 for 1 is better than none. But I think there's only 20 total. But they do get more expensive as each chapter goes on. Get 1 extra common item per chapter. Like, that seems awesome because I'm very annoyed by having to destroy items all the time. When you gain an injury, draw 2 and pick 1. This has synergies with the curatives. So if you have a lot of curatives in your deck, you draw 2 injuries, there's a really good chance you're not going to take an injury then. And then the well-connected will save us some money. and time. So, okay, now that we're looking at all that, so let's say these two are must-haves. That's 2. Backpack and hold 20, maybe. Let's call that a 3. This healing one, 4, 5, 6, and then you only have 2 more points to spend over here. I just don't feel like there's enough points. So unless there's ways to get it through this mechanism, there's just not enough points to go around. Now, one thing I forgot to point out is when we finished the encounter, we did level up, and there is a chart that tells us what we get. And I didn't spend a lot of time on it, but I'm going to refresh a conversation. So it's this chart here, and at level 2, we all gain new ability cards. And you can see we should have 1 permanent token, and 0 free company traits, and 0 bonus to our animus. And then as we keep going, you can see that at level 3, we're going to gain a company trait. And that's how I know we're going to eventually get 8. Because see down here at the bottom, there's 8. And so if you look at the permanent tokens, you can see that goes up as well. And eventually we get 6 permanent tokens. And 6 is not a lot. We have 3, 6, 9, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3. We have 15 permanent item slots. And there's only 6 that we can get. Yeah, lots of room for growth there. Okay, we got to do our haggle 4. I like the idea of the 4 dice. Although we have a 50% success rate with it, we do have a redraw now, so let's try it. So we got our 2, 3, 4. We passed with a crit and 1 blank. That was perfect. So we only have to lose 2 iron, so we will do that. And that means we gain Midge as an ally. So Midge is a Chapter 1 ally. Right there. A non-combat one. So finally we got him. And then we're going to go to location 10. And I just need to find the marker. I don't have them sorted here. Here we go. Location 10, I'm assuming we place here. And we will verify that as soon as we see the timer up here. That timer should go to 1. Right now you can see it says 0. But we're going to go to that's the palace.
The palace has seen better days. Its luster worn away by the many thousands of lives.
There it is, time 1.
Halls. Bastone, like every settlement to have survived, is bursting at the seams with humanity. The presence of the Deepwood, forever ensuring space and materials are more precious than people. Even here, the press of bodies can be felt as petitioners line the outside corridors, while inside, hundreds of menials and servants scurry about their tasks. You are led under guard to the high hall and told to wait before an ornate double door. A master servant appears through the door and looks you up and down suspiciously.
Well, we don't have either the witch or the warden, or the wardrobe. So let's go to otherwise.
In the antechamber, the servant ushers you forward. Welcome, honored guests. You are most timely. My lord awaits within. I would ask you to leave your weapons here, but I know your oath. We honor the pact. But if you must carry them, please refrain from any sudden movements. There will be crossbows trained on you at all times. This way, please. The master servant claps his hands, and double doors open, allowing you to pass. Within is a grand hall of art stone and skylights. No amber torches are needed to light this place. My Lord Davenish, may I present the Free Company from Verum. Davenish is a portly man with a tight-cropped black beard and piercing eyes. He rises from behind a long meeting table, bedecked in bowls and dishes of fine food. The rat catchers. Good. I trust you're rested. Without waiting for a reply, he continues. Your service to my town is noted, but I must ask something else of you. He looks disgustedly at the bowl of fruit set to the side of the table and slams his fist next to it. He plucks a now crushed insect up. Cockroaches. They're everywhere. This town has an infestation. Not this kind of bug, though. Something more insidious and harder to kill. Have you heard of the Piper? You shake your heads. A cult leader. A traitor. Davenish continues. He preys on the weak-minded and draws them to him with promises of streets full of food and iron, if they will but join him in overthrowing the natural order of things. His gang of thugs have been attacking my patrols and sacked several shops. He must be stopped. Without the natural order, where lords shepherd the people, the peasantry would collapse into anarchy. They cannot rule themselves, let alone others. This ignorant fool, he would doom us all. There will be blood in the streets, and it won't be on my hands. No town or city can survive a civil war with the Deepwood at the gates. So I ask you, will you break from hunting witches and bogeymen to run this man to ground? I know this is not your contract here, but I will see you are handsomely rewarded for your efforts. This town has stood for over 500 years, and never once has the line of lords broken faith with the pact. Now the town needs you. Will you break faith with it?
I don't know. Well, let's do the instructions first, but we're going to have to decide if we want to hunt this Piper. I'm not a fan. If you can't control your own town, you will not be able to do both. We can hunt the Piper or investigate the dreams. All right, well, our therapist, aka the bartender, told us to investigate our dreams. Like, we were flat out told to do that. This is some snotty dude who's just worried about a little anarchy. I will see you handsomely rewarded for your efforts. Will you break faith with it? I don't even know what that means. So, break faith. Break the contract? I don't like this decision. I like the idea of being handsomely rewarded. It just feels like I'm helping a rich guy to just stay rich. I must ask something else of you. I think we need to... Man, I hate to sound so mystical, but I think we need to... You know, if everybody had the exact same dream... Oh, I'm going to regret this. We're going to refuse the contract. I would like to know what happens. Take the Path B card. All Oathsworn get a +2 Animus token. Alright, let's do the... Alright, so I'm giving everybody a +2. That +2 is pretty nice. We used it several times in the last battle. So that's definitely not crappy. Path B is just simply taking this and turning it over. So that's done.
You deny the Lord, who dismisses you angrily, and you make your way back onto the street. There is more than flesh and bone to worry about here. Some sort of shared vision is infecting your sleep. You've heard enough whispers around town to know you are not the only ones experiencing these nightmares. You thought it had been the rat killings, putting the glint of fear into passers-by. But there is still something haunting the people. You set about to finding as much as you can about the dreams of the townsfolk. There is a slow, pulsing feeling around this fear, a pendulum swinging closer and closer, the creeping doom that incessantly pricks at the corners of your mind. Something is going to happen soon. Across the street, the dead eyes of Samuel survey you as he smiles. There is the sound of a thrum on the wire road, and he is gone.
Okay, I guess it means he approved our decision. Search for clues about the town's dreams. There's something to be learned in them. Something's going to happen today. Try to find out who, what, where, and when. Go to that location at the right time to stop whatever's about to happen. You'll be rewarded if you can do this in time. Oh. All right. This is a ridiculous number of locations. There's got to be a better way. So 2, 5, 3, 6, 7, and 11. There's 11, 6, 7, 12, 14, and 16. There's 14, 12, 16, 19, 20, and 24. There's 24, 20, 19. Okay. Yikes. We got to put all these out now. All right. Get the camera situated. 6 is the church. 20. I don't see 20. Oh, 20 is the stockade. 16 is middle of nowhere again. 24 is the burrows. 7 is the underways. 5 is the barracks. 3 is the apothecary. 12 is the market. 19 is the banksmith. 14 is the town square. 2 is the archive. And 11 is the tower. Okay, so what I don't know how to track is if I go to the banksmith, there's me physically going there, and then there's me paying for a runner to go there. I guess it's different, because if I physically go there, I could be talking with them, having a conversation. Whereas if a runner goes there, I'm paying them. The banksmith is missing his child. I want to help him. I don't know why I didn't have an opportunity to do that. So there's a part of me that wants to go there. No matter what, I need to go there to buy items. So let's go to the banksmith. We're going to go to 19.
The banksmith half-heartedly nods as you enter. Bad days, Gamble snorts, wiping oil from his hands on a leather towel. Worse nights, he continues, speaking to no one. Seen my boy, Tam? He asks as he tiredly gestures to his wares on display. You come and tell me the second you do, right? He's been out of sorts, screaming in the night like a witch had him. You know what I dream? A damned butcher's knife. Not one I forged, though. No workmanship to it. This thing is cruel. Now, maybe I made a few too many recently, but it's all I see. Anyway, let's move on. Do your business.
Butcher's knife seems important. So, agreed. So we may trade with the blacksmith, which, of course, we're going to do. And we can buy some items here. So we can buy the pig iron mesh, and then knowing in the future that the pig iron coat is going to get destroyed. And then we could, replace it with this. That's one option. I don't know. We definitely for sure want to get the halberd. That costs 2. We can sell some of our items. I don't need this, for example. This is just a improved version of the one we have. The armor, not horrible. We can buy a spare bow, but I don't know if there's really a value to it. The leather is an upgrade. We're just spending money to spend money if we do. But so the idea here is, okay, we buy these items, and then next round, these are the items that are going to get destroyed, like the ones they're wearing now, and then these would be what replaces them. But the problem or challenge here is by the time we get to chapter 3, there might be even a better heavy armor out there. And so, you know, I'm basically wearing my big brother's clothes when all the new clothes are cheaper to get, or just as good or better. I don't have the Nike swoosh on my shoes, so I'm going to get made fun of. We do want the halberd, though, because I am sitting with no weapon for the bear. The long sword here we could have used for the bear. I am noticing, though, that the huntress actually does have a lot of skills that use melee, and you don't have to always use a bow, because she's not a ranger like the other one. You do have a mixture. And then, of course, we have some items we can sell. So both of these shivs we can sell for 1 gold each. And that pays for the halberd, so it doesn't even cost us anything to get it. So yeah, that's what we can do. We can sell these for 1 gold each. And then we're buying this for, iron. And then we're buying this for 2. So it's a wash. These go back into the market, and then the halberd goes on to the warbear. Everything else is just a minor improvement. So I probably shouldn't have gone here. This is the same defense as what they have. It just it does give them a battle flow action. This gives them a redraw. I will pay 2 for this one because that I can give to the huntress. And you know, this one you can ignore from being knocked back. It's not that much better than what we have. We'll just pay 2 for that, and then we're going to call it a day. And my apologies, because I know I made a big deal about doing this, and then we're hardly doing anything. So that just consumed a time, a very precious time. But we give that to our archer, who actually had no armor, so we actually had to do that. I'm just checking everybody else to make sure they have what they need, and they do. So we have 3 items in our backpack. These 2 we don't need, but they sell for nothing. So that's why we're keeping them in our backpack for now. And we can just get rid of them later if we have to. And we can store up to 12. All right. And that's it. So we wasted a whole time doing that. Where do we want to go next? I'm looking at the archive was a waste of time. We didn't go to the underway at all last time. The stockade is the prison. We have the burrows. The market. The market last time let us, and then we have a church. I actually think that's an interesting idea. Let's go to the church.
Mourners line the steps of the church. A guard stands nervously at the base of the steps. You ask if he knows why everyone has gathered. Yeah, I know. I found him myself. Reverend Cusnell. They sacrificed him on his own altar. Nothing is safe no more. You try to talk to some of the mourners. Most pay you little heed, but one suggests the apothecary may know of such things. As you leave, the crowd parts before you, but one man stands in your way. Samuel, head cocked to one side, stares at you in disappointment. You hear the loud thrum of the wire road, and Samuel is gone.
Okay, so he doesn't like that we went to the church. One suggests apothecary may know of such things. I don't want to go to the apothecary. I think it's going to be like the banksmith, where you're going to learn nothing. So let's go to the burrows 24. I feel like I'm just wandering aimlessly.
Mud and slop fill the streets as you wade through the rain of the burrows. Here, a warren of tightly packed terraces cross and recross each other, as if they had been added again and again over the years in an attempt to create more space. As you walk under one of the overhead walkways, something splashes on the back of your hand. Not rain, blood. You look up and see a dark room connecting to the walkway. Climbing a nearby staircase, you find the door to the room ajar, a line of blood running from its entrance. Upon entry, you see two forms lying prone on the floor, thick shadows draped over them. A male and a female of middling age. They are covered in scratch marks and bruises. Household objects lie around the couple, broken and obviously used upon each other. These people killed one another. What could have possessed them to? A movement in the corner of the room catches your eye. Your hands go to your weapon. A pair of eyes peer out from the shadow, and a boy's face appears. He is no more than his 12th year. His clothes are dirty and his feet bare. He just stares at his parents. You try to talk to him to find out what happened, but he remains silent. He seems broken somehow, unable to speak of the horror he witnessed. It seems Bastone will have another street urchin before long, when people find the room unclaimed.
So I'm assuming that the dream took them, but what good did that do me? Leave the boy, give the boy some money, and leave or take responsibility for him. Oh, let's take responsibility for him. All Oathsworn gain a redraw token. I am happy about that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know I chose that because I didn't want to give him money.
You take some food from your pack and offer it to the boy. He resists at first, but hunger wins out and he devours the scraps of dried meat. He cannot give you his name, so you must give him one. You coax the boy back from the room and out into the rain. It starts to wash the blood from his feet. You place a blanket around him, and for better or worse, you take him with you.
Gain ally card 5, Mute Boy. Come up with a name for the Mute Boy. There he is. Mute Boy. Non-combat ally. What's the name for him? I'm going to just write it in over on the side here. We got the Mute Boy. Name. We're going to call him Verbose. It's a fitting name. All right. Now we go to another location. Our time is ticking by fast. Let's go to so we went to the burrows. 16 is the only nondescript location. We don't have the who, what, when, where, why, or anything figured out yet. Let's go to the underways.
Celeste is quick to respond when you ask to see her. She arrives from the tunnels, caked in dirt and brushing a worm from her tunic. You know why we lose sleep down here? Because we know without us, this whole damn town collapses. Dreams. I wish I could remember the last time I slept deep enough to have one. My concern now is that in lot 3, I've got some sort of blight spreading through the mushroom bed. If it gets out of that cave, I don't know what we're going to do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've more important things to tend to than dreams.
What a waste. Okay, but the thing is, though, is mushrooms lead to crazy dreams. And if there's a blight, I don't know. But this was like a complete waste of our time. Well, the Underways is not what I thought. I thought it was like a thieves guild, but it's really just a mushroom something something. Okay, we have to draw a city event. If Dane is not a part of your company anymore, archive this event card and draw another. You see Dane, we do have him. You see Dane stop in, alleyway and peer in. You, unhand that woman. You hurry around the corner and see a woman being attacked by 3 men as Dane charges headlong. Do we help Dane rescue the woman? Of course we do. Let's do that. Your presence alone causes the group to step back cautiously. Perform a threatening check, difficulty 3. If you succeed, all Oathsworn gain a empower. If you fail, 1 random loses a health. Okay, so it's only a 3 check. So I'm just going to roll 3 dice. And we rolled a 4 with a crit, so we passed easy. So, woman thanks you. And Dane dies in a puddle of his own blood. Well, we didn't do that. So we all get an empower token, is really what happens here. And I'm assuming we archive these cards. We're running out of city event cards to even draw, but I'm going to go ahead and archive it anyways. I mean, since we still have Dane in our party, does that mean we're going to keep getting events of him rescuing these women? I mean, it's a nice way to get an empower token over and over again. I need to do a Board Game Geek search on when do we archive these and when don't we. But anyways, that one might be one that's supposed to stay. Okay, one person told us to go to the apothecary. Otherwise, I have like nowhere to I'm just randomly visiting places. We could go to the archive again. It was a waste of time last time. Let's waste our time again. Let's do it.
I am no washerwoman. I do not record dreams, Mila says with disdain. However, there is an issue I would share with you now your hunt is completed. Suicides have gone up in recent months, an anomaly, but not unheard of. 52 years ago, there was a similar spike. Archivist Milas explains, unraveling a scroll on a creaking wooden table before you. Many took their own lives. Young, old, men, women. No discernible pattern. Melphis, the archivist at the time, ascribes it to witches and boggarts. Poor excuse for a historian. If I were a betting man, which I most certainly am not, I would seek out those alchemists. Some compound, perhaps, causing an imbalance in the humors. The apothecary, Lysine, may know more.
Okay, that's twice now. We were told to go to the apothecary. So it's my fault for not doing this sooner, I guess. So we're going to go to 3.
On top of a tenement building, you find the apothecary. Her small hut is surrounded by a garden of herbs. The greens are stark contrast to the slate-black roofs and brown timbers of the rest of the town. It strikes you that there is no crowd outside. Every apothecary you have ever seen has been accompanied by a hive of people jostling to have their ills tended to. Here, there was no one. As you come closer, you see why. Hastily scrawled letters proclaim witch on the side of the hut, and its lone window is broken. Lysine sits slumped on a stool, herbs, powders, and several rocks scattered about the floor. She holds a bloody rag to her head. Come to collect a witch, she asks, looking up painfully. That's what the crowds want, isn't it? If you don't, they will. I've a growing collection of rocks to tell me that. You stay alert with this woman. But you know better than most that only a handful of witch hunts actually involve a witch.
Well, it's pretty obvious what happened. Her growing collection of rocks is because people are throwing rocks at her because she's a witch. I'm not going to ask her what happened. We're going to go straight to our dreams.
You tell her about your dreams, as Grey Cane suggested. She eyes you suspiciously, but seems to decide talking to you is better than being taken in as a witch. Many who come to see me have had bad dreams, and I won't lie, I have them too. None of my remedies work on them, though. Last night I dreamt I was in the marketplace. There was no one there, though, and it was as cold as the grave.
Marketplace seems important. You may start a trade with the apothecary. Okay, so we can spend up to 5 times, or we can spend 10 of our iron to get the curatives. So we have this injury deck. It's got a whole bunch of cards in it. And then you can see that, there's broken arm, broken leg. I'm trying not to read all the details. Gut rot. These are all bad things that can happen to you. And when you get these injuries, they're going to, when the encounter starts, you have to play your injury card first, and then it's going to move around the battle flow. But you want this card to stay in the battle flow as long as possible. You don't want it to come back in your hand, because if it's back in your hand, you have to play it again. So it has to be the first action you always do. And then, of course, it's going to do stuff to you. So the idea of a curative is we have this curative deck here, which has the same exact back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20 of them. Every chapter, we're allowed to buy up to 5. The cost is the chapter number. So if I buy 5 of these, that's going to cost us 10 iron right now, because chapter 2. There is one of these free company skill sets that we can get that every time we buy one of these, we actually get 2. So that's more efficient. But right now, if I'm willing to spend 10 iron, I can get 5 of these. And then what I do is they get mixed in with this larger deck. So there's a whole bunch of bad things in here, but 5 not so bad things. So if I end up through RNG luck, if I get lucky enough to draw one of these 5, then I won't actually take an injury. And then the moment you draw one, I don't know if they all say the same thing. Right, you'll see, you suffer no injury, place this card back in the curative, so then you lose it. And they all say the same thing. So they're really nice if you can get one. And if you get 20 of these into this deck, it looks like that's probably going to be 50-50 odds. So that's 10 of our iron. If we want to put 5 of them in there, it only gets more and more expensive from here on out. Part of me is like, well, we should. But 5 of these cards mixed in with all these, I don't like my chances. I really don't. It's an investment in something that may never actually pay off. So what do I do? We do have iron. We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 20 iron right now, so we'd be paying half of our total iron. I am so stingy with my iron, folks. I don't know what I'm saving it up for, but I just don't want to be in that position where I want to spend iron and I can't. So we're here. We're wasting the time to visit this apothecary. So I feel like we got to do it. So I'm going to spend the 5, and we're going to take 5 of these and put it into that deck. And it's so much money lost. But we're going to do it. And the injury deck does need to be shuffled if we ever need to draw one. But for now, I'm just going to set it back off to the side. And we're going to lose our 10 iron here. And so be it. So let's go to the market. This is where they told us to go next. So we're going to go to 12. If we're on path B, go to 30.1 in the storybook. I don't think that matters here.
There is a sense of foreboding as the orange sun sinks beneath the horizon.
If you are at the marketplace. We are. Wow. That is awesome.
The market is bustling, even at this hour. Men and women, young and old, hurry about bartering and trading their often meagre wares. Samuel stands perfectly still in the centre of the crowd, head cocked to one side, staring at you. You know something is about to happen here. Someone is about to die. But who? If you can stop this, you might be able to track down the source of your dreams. Scanning the crowd, you see 3 distinct groups. A gang of children are dispersed amongst the stalls. Some are playing, others are keeping watch to see if the stall owners are distracted. On the other side of the market is a group of older men huddling round a table discussing a trade. Lastly, dispersed in the centre is a group of women.
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to know which one of these to do? What was the dream? The dream was Samuel getting killed. Her dream was she showed up at the marketplace and nobody was there. And nobody else really said what the dreams were. We know that the the archivist from a while ago committed suicide and there was a bunch of suicides. We know that the husband and wife killed each other, but see, the child was safe, the mute boy. So I'm going to bank that the children aren't suffering from the dreams. It seems to be targeting adults. So then we got to narrow it down. Is it the women or the old men? And I don't know that answer. I mean, we know that the woman was involved because the husband and wife. Has anybody that's been old having these dreams? The witch is having the dreams, but we don't know her age. The barkeep was not having dreams, but he was telling you to take them seriously. So I'm going to bank on the fact that it doesn't affect old people either. So we're going to go on the women. And it's just process of elimination. The children don't seem to be affected by the dream, and I think old people aren't affected either. So we're going to go with women.
The women are going this way and that, crisscrossing your view. You need to focus on a few, or you will lose all of them. There are several women in black, several women carrying heavy loads, and several that are hooded.
Well, the temptation is you go after the hooded ones. I mean, why would you want to target somebody just because they're wearing black? The heavy loads, I think, is just a nothing burger. Oh, the hooded means they're suspicious, right? I mean, that's what you do when you don't want people to notice you. You wear hoods. So we're going to go notice the hooded ones. I have to do hooded.
You focus on the hooded women. They are an unlikely perpetrator, but perhaps that is what Samuel wants you to think. You watch them for a short span, trying to... At the market centre, there is a crowd of people gathered around something. Parting the crowd, you find a man's body, a butcher's knife protruding from his chest. You were too late. Samuel shakes his head disapprovingly, as if to say another body now lies at your feet alongside his own. Then, with a loud thrum on the wire, he is dragged into nothing. You ask if anyone saw the murderer, and an old woman points in the direction of an alley. She went that way.
So we had it, folks. We figured out it was the women. It wasn't the hooded ones, it was the ones in black. Come on. We were so close.
Bolting for the alley, you are determined to track down this murderer, this witch, or whatever it was. It does not take long. The alley leads to the outer wall, and as you run along the straight path, you see a figure atop the wall. As you close, you realize it is a woman dressed in black, swaying in a wind no one else feels. Why is she not escaping? The question is muted as you alight the stone stairway. Samuel stands next to the woman. He leans in, whispers in her ear, and gestures out to the deep wood, as if...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I read ahead. Secret decision. Set your die to 1 if you wish to try to grab the woman, or 2 to let her fall. Now, this is like if we're playing multiplayer, everybody gets to vote. And then, of course, you reveal it, and then, I don't know how tiebreakers are broken. We're going to try to grab the woman.
Offering her a seat, the woman nods with a smile and steps to the edge.
Each Oathsworn who decided to grab the woman performs a survival check, difficulty 5. All right, I didn't decide who, so we're going to go ahead and do all 4. And I'm going to go ahead and roll 4 dice. This time for the Warbear. So that was a 5. He succeeded. The Penitent. 2, 3, 4. That's a crit. 5. So he succeeded. Andrew. 2, 4 with a fail. He'll use one of his redraw tokens because I don't want to lose any more hit points. 6, he passes. And then Jagiera. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pass. I don't need to roll for the crit. So all 4 passed. That's actually well done. If any succeed.
As the woman leans over the parapet, you grab her arm. She realizes she is no longer falling and becomes angry. Wheeling on you, she bites down on your hand hard. You instinctively let go and she plummets from the wall.
If you tried to save her to get answers or justice, if you cannot stand by and watch a human die like that, if you tried to save her because you might get a token. Well, we were doing justice. She murdered somebody. All Oathsworn gain a defense token. That's never bad. Okay.
You run to the wall, and as you look over, your blood runs cold. It is not the body impaled on the spikes that shake you, but the hand reaching from the deep wood towards it. You cannot see the creature for the trees, but the arm is immense. Roped muscles bunch under bristling fur. Claws wrap around the body and pluck it from the stake like fruit from a vine. Then, slowly, the arm is drawn back under the canopy, leaving a trail of blood in its wake. Stepping back from the edge, you rush to find the ropes. There is no time to wait till morning. Earth and root would soon drink the blood long before. That thing is responsible for what is happening to this town. You know what you must do. This is often how these things begin. You prepare to follow the...
Reveal the encounter special rules board. Mark the special rules for Chapter 2 on your free company sheet. So we basically unlocked the special rules for Chapter 2. And what did I do with the chapter items? I know I grabbed them. So here they are. We haven't looked at these yet. So the encounter itself is this satyr, I think is how you pronounce it. So this is pretty interesting. He's got dice all around the edge. And the special rules for him get revealed. So he's a large. He rolls a black, 2 reds, and 2 yellows. He draws a hallucination card and give it to the Oathsworn with the least cards with a line of sight. If tied, choose the furthest. The Oathsworn resolves the card effects and then keeps the hallucination card to mark how many hallucinations they've had. And then once per round during their turn, the Oathsworn with the least amount of hallucination cards may force an adjacent Oathsworn to lose 1 health and lose all hallucination cards, including their effects. Oh, interesting. So this guy is going to be annoying as all get out with these hallucinations. All right, so that's good to know. We're going to have to stand next to each other to keep everybody awake.
You hurry down the rope and prepare to dive into the deep wood. Guards watch nervously from the top of the wall. Following the blood trail dragged through the underbrush is no problem for those trained in the ways of the wild. Heading deeper in, the shadows consume you, and the sound of the town quickly dies away to be replaced by an oppressive silence.
Draw and resolve a Deepwood event card. Oh, we haven't done one of these. Here we go. If Dane... Oh, did I not shuffle these? Let me shuffle. I think the Dane ones were just put on top, and I never bothered shuffling them. He's definitely in our party. I just... All right, here we go. This targets the Oathsworn with the highest defense. That would actually be me, the penitent. Quick mud sucks at your feet. Where others walked, you now sink as the weight of your armor tips the balance. Do you lean back and try to raise your legs out? Tread sand and try to swim out. I'm going to do A. All other Oathsworn perform a survival check. If 2 or more succeed, the target is freed. If less than 2 succeed, the target suffers an injury. Oh, look at that. Difficulty 5. Oof. All right, so we're going to do a difficulty 3 check. So we're going to just roll 3 dice. I'm going to start with Wombat Girl. Oh my gosh, 3 crits. That's amazing. Myself. Oh, other. So this would have been Andrew. He passed. 2 or more did succeed. I don't think we need to keep rolling. The target's freed. So that's all that happens. Okay, and I don't think that we archive these. It doesn't say to archive. So I think the... I'm pretty sure the other ones shouldn't have been archived either. But we'll go ahead and keep going.
There is a gentle sobbing as you approach an open space between the trees. Weapons drawn, you crouch and shelter behind trunks as you work your way towards it. Hanging from a branch, lashed by vines that dig deep into his arms, is a young boy struggling to catch each gulping breath. The vines above him are twisted like a rope, run through with broken weapons, pots and bones and sticks. They clatter slightly in the swaying breeze. Any motion would cause a tremendous racket. His belt has been torn and lies several feet below him in the leaves, a large black hammer still tucked into it, never drawn to fight off whatever did this to him. Tam, the banksmith's son, his half-open eyes showing the unnatural orange you saw before. He scans the woods with a hypnotic gaze, as if looking for something. The large bulk you have been following lumbers into the tree line past this clearing.
Try to free Tam. Kill Tam, ensuring his silence. Oh my gosh. No, we're freeing him. All Oathsworn gain a redraw token. We are getting lots of tokens. We probably need them for this battle.
Making sure there is no danger, you step out into the open space, motioning Tam to stay quiet. The boy locks onto you and immediately begins to scream and thrash about, creating a cacophony from the objects in the vines above. You go immediately on the defensive. The boy is killing himself. The barbed vines around Tam cut deeply into his neck as he thrashes, draining the life from him. You have no time to help the boy, though, as something approaches. You feel it before you see it. A primal fear washes over you. You see 2 cloven hooves, then gaze slowly upwards into the trees to be met by 2 giant orange eyes staring back.
So we're at the encounter. And by the way, this time around, we made it. So we get an extra unique item. So we actually did finish on time. Man, we almost solved the murder thing. We had it. I just went after the hood instead of the black. I'm actually quite proud of my deductive reasoning, but it wasn't enough. So proceed to the chapter 2, and basically, there we go. We're going up against this dude. After the encounter, so nothing new there, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. And that's a new video. So thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.